Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the first blockbuster trade of this 2025 offseason. We're looking at Deebo Samuels headed to the Washington Commanders. I honestly think this is a win-win situation for both teams. You have the 49ers, they're looking to build around Purdy. They obviously have to pay Purdy this year. He deserves to be a highly paid quarterback. And they've been really trying to offload Deebo for a while now, ever since they paid Ayuk that big contract. And this really allows them to take advantage of a really good draft class with that, 5th round pick there. And looking at the Washington Commanders, they're honestly probably in a dream scenario for any franchise. They have their franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, so it really allows them to be able to use that extra cap space, right? Use that cheap contract to go ahead and surround Jaden Daniels with some good talent. And I do think that Deebo Samuels can be an asset for the Commanders. First thing everyone's going to say is obviously the motivation, right? And the drops and stuff like that. And honestly, I like to at least bring this up, although I don't think Deebo Samuels is going to, come up and pop out like he did in 2021. I don't think he's the same player, although I do think that he could still definitely be very, very advantageous for that team. I know Deebo and the 49ers staff had their tensions, and I honestly don't think he was giving it his full effort for the past 2 years, in my opinion. I think he's wanted out of that organization, and he hasn't got his way. And I feel like he has felt like he is not the first option at that position because of Brandon Ayuk, and he has felt burnt ever since they gave him that contract. I think a fresh start on a new organization is the best bet for Deebo, and I think the Washington Commanders is a great landing spot for him. I think Deebo's size, speed, and strength is really going to allow him to thrive in the Washington Commanders offense. Last year, the Washington Commanders were third in the NFL in screens to the wide receiver position, and that's really where Deebo thrives. So I think they're going to put him back there in that wide position, allow him to catch those passes in the backfield, give him those yak opportunities. I think it's going to be Scary Terry, obviously, with the medium and deep targets. And they're going to have Deebo catching those, screens and little short passes. And if I had to put a projection to Deebo's production next year, I do think it's going to be a pretty solid upgrade from last year with the Niners. He was only at about 800 all-purpose yards and only about 4 touchdowns. So I do foresee, him being about 1,000 all-purpose yards this year. And I do think they're going to use him in the red zone more often. So I'd see him maybe getting 5 to 6 touchdowns, but definitely an upgrade. In my personal opinion, I think Deebo is hunting for that Super Bowl ring. I think it's crazy that he has gone to 2 Super Bowls and lost both. I think he's pretty pissed off about it, and I think he is looking for that ring. I think Washington is probably one of the best landing spots for him for that exact reason. I think they got a Super Bowl coming here pretty soon. If you were to ask me, I would say probably in the next 2 to 3 years, if not sooner. I'd really like to say, in all honesty, that they could win this next upcoming year, but I think they need a few more pieces on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. All right, guys, like this video if you think the Commanders can win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, and then I want you guys to comment who you guys got winning next year. So the Commanders are giving up the 148th pick in the draft, right? So that's 5.9. They actually originally got it from the Saints. Supposedly, from what the reports are saying, the Texans and the Steelers also showed some interest in Deebo Samuels. So pulling out some of the financials, bringing Deebo over will actually bring a cap hit of about $17.5 million to the Commanders. This does leave them with, still about $64.4 million left over. I do still think that they could use, obviously, another receiver. I don't think Deebo Samuels is like a true number one. More importantly for that team, they need a better run defense. They need a lot more pieces on the defensive end to help stop that run. Last year we saw this team perform, obviously, with the pieces that they did have. They were able to beat the Detroit Lions in a playoff game, the number 1 offense in all of the NFL. If this team is able to acquire some new talent on that defensive end, I think that this team can be a really strong contender for the next few years. And there's some really big defensive free agents that they can target. Hit the linebacker position. I know they do have Bobby Wagner. I think they're set to lose him this year. I'm not sure if they're going to re-sign him, but you could always replace him with Dre Greenlaw from the Niners. You could also hit the edge position. Josh Sweat is available, as well as Odin Yingbo from the Colts. So there's some big-time names that you can get to go ahead and help with that passing and rushing defense. And honestly, with the depth of this year's rookie draft in the running back position, I do foresee them taking a running back. I'm not sure exactly what pick, because they could honestly do it in first, second, third round, and they could still get a very good running back. The fact that it's the last year of B-Rob's rookie deal and, some of the struggles that he's had as far as fumbles and efficiency in the backfield. Eckler's a dinosaur at this point, and he's going to be a free agent this year. So I don't expect them to, re-sign Eckler at that point. Honestly, with the new coaching staff, the new regime, kind of the outlook for the Commanders, I do foresee them being very excited to take a running back in such a deep class this year. I could see them taking like a 3-down back, maybe like a Cam Scatabo or, a Junkins or something. I could see them kind of thriving in that, organization and offense style, a pass catching running back. The Commanders are very fond of, going forward on those 4th and short, downs and stuff like that. We saw last year they were number 1 in converting those fourth and short downs. I think that having that big running back, like Judkins or Scatabo is really going to be a huge asset for them, and I think that they're going to prioritize that in this year's draft. I like to give my projections as far as the records for these teams next year. So on the Niners end, it looks like they are going into like a small little rebuild with Purdy there. So I don't foresee them, moving any waves next year. Let's say 8-9 on the 2025-2026 season for the Niners. Looking at the Commanders, I think this is where it gets a little bit juicy. I think it depends on how high you are on the team and, how well the defenses are going to kind of respond to, Daniel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as far as the Commanders and the 49ers records next year. But anyways, I think that wraps it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please leave a like if you guys did. Subscribe if you like videos just like this. I want to make this a regular thing, so hopefully I stay to it. But either way, Red Zone Guy is out, and hope you guys have a great day.